Welcome to Breaking Boundaries, brought to you by Women's Cricket Zone. I'm Snehal Pradhan, former India cricketer. With me is Karunya Keshav, co-author of the book The Fire Burns Blue, chronicling the history of women's cricket. And we are discussing yet another day in the Women's World T20 here in the West Indies. Now, two games we had today, Ireland and Pakistan first, Australia and New Zealand second. Both tense for different reasons and some emotion at the end of one, particularly the first game.
Both teams came into this as thinking of it as their own little finals. So for Ireland, this was the game they wanted to win. This was the team that they thought they could beat. And as for New Zealand, they were playing to stay alive in the competition essentially. And for both Ireland and New Zealand, unfortunately, the games didn't go their way.
Yeah, Ireland particularly was not just a cricket match, it was an exhibition of the inequalities in world cricket that Pakistan, who have been semi-professional, professional since 2010, up against Ireland, who many of whom are in school, many of whom have taken 3 weeks leave from work to come for this tournament. Just imagine that and trying to match up to this. And Ireland, if they had beaten Pakistan today, would qualify directly for the next World T20. That did not happen, and their captain, Laura Delany, at the press conference was bitterly disappointed.
In a game that we genuinely believed that we could win, it's very disappointing.
She was, and she had good reason to be, because this is an Ireland side that does have talent. Despite what may have been seen in the past two matches, you watch these girls play, they play with a lot of spirit, with a lot of talent, and they're a wonderful bunch of girls. As you said, there are lawyers among there, they're like marketing professionals, they're students. And today we did see that for the first 8 overs, they did a fantastic job with their bowling.
Yeah.
Lucy O'Reilly, I think, had people going quite gaga over her.
She bowled a
action.
maiden over. Yeah.
She bowled a maiden over, and there were lots of people comparing her action to Brett Lee's action. Maybe that was taking things a little too far, but I think what the point they were trying to make is that it was a very classical action. It was a very proper action. And it just goes to show the kind of skill that Ireland does have.
They have the talent. Just for example, a Scotland player, Kirsty Gordon, is playing for England, taking wickets for England. That's the kind of talent these regions have. If they're just given the platform and the systems, you will see them succeed.
Kim Garth, for instance, played in the WBBL. She's played in the WBBL final.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that these girls can't play at this stage. They can. It was just one of those days when things didn't go right for them.
Things didn't go right for New Zealand either. One of the tournament contenders, certainly they would have expected to be in the semi-final, practically knocked out of the tournament after losing to India, today losing to Australia. In slightly anticlimactic fashion. You could say it was a game which at one stage looked like Australia were going to run away with it. New Zealand pulled it back, looked like they were in the hunt for a bit, but then Australia just had too much variety in their bowling attack.
So 2 years ago, when New Zealand played the World T20 in India, they were the favourites to win the tournament. They were unbeaten in the group stage. So it's really kind of sad to see how far they've slipped behind. I don't think anyone's really been able to pinpoint why this is. One reason is that they're top heavy. The other reason is that they probably don't have enough people coming in to give depth to their lineup. We don't know what it is, but maybe at a time when countries like Australia and England and even India to an extent have really gone ahead.
Yeah.
New Zealand somehow seem to have stayed at the same place and maybe even gone backwards a little bit. The leadership change just before the World T20 doesn't seem to have sort of helped settle them.
And that's not good for world cricket because you see these players, the Devines, the Satterthwaite's, Bates performing so well in individual capacities in T20 leagues around. But just as a team, they haven't found the formula yet. Australia, once again, ruthless, clinical. They were put under pressure. They responded well. And I think they are being tested in this game. They probably might be tested against India as well. They are shaping up really cool. Quickly, let's take a look at the next couple of games. Tomorrow, West Indies take on South Africa. That's the evening game. That's the marquee game. Before that, another battle for qualification. Another battle at the bottom of the table between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Again, Bangladesh had to qualify for this World T20. If they beat Sri Lanka, they have a chance of qualifying directly for the next World T20. So it's there's a lot at stake there, and then of course the host coming into play. So Bangladesh first, again they will be a threat, but considering, I think it might come down to which team can use the conditions better, and conditions have been favorable for fast bowling there.
Yes, and I think I'm more interested, obviously, in what happens in the second game because that could decide the group. Both,
It's a very tough group.
yeah, it's a very tough group. Both South Africa and West Indies have one win right now, and the person who wins this game is probably going to give themselves a good chance of going to the semi.
They played a series just before this, South Africa and the Windies, and they were tied 2-2. So we're up with two evenly matched teams, one of whom has injury concerns. The other is coming in with home support, good form. They're like jiving to the mood of this tournament. We don't know how much rain will affect these matches. Once again, in the comments, maybe make some appeals to the rain gods and hope we get some cricket in tomorrow. It's going to be a fun day at the World T20. Evenly matched teams, 4 evenly matched teams up against each other tomorrow. Competitive cricket on the cards. Stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates, and make sure you also pre-order the book, The Fire Burns Blue. It's going to be a fascinating read. We'll see you tomorrow on Breaking Boundaries, brought to you by Women's Cricket Zone.